Yo, what's up? Now we're gonna have a little charging video of the ID3. I've been waiting for this. You guys have been waiting for this. Let's roll the tape. So here, top left, well, okay, you see what cars we are bringing. And actually, I set the kilowatt hour available from what I know. Actually, from what I measured from most of these cars, just to make it more comparable. But I included the e-Sol because it has similar range and similar price to the ID3. Also included Model 3 because, again, that one also has similar range and similar price. But the E28 is, well, it depends, but it's slightly cheaper. But also it has smaller battery. But I just want to show you guys comparison between some similar cars. And off the bat you see that ID3 goes to 100 kilowatt, very on the bottom there, very nice. So if you want to get the best charging speed, you want to arrive with less than, well, okay, less than 30%, preferably around 10%, maybe even 5%. It seems to be safe. It doesn't go into any turtle mode when you go slow, but look there, okay, ID3, okay, I'm not going to comment Model 3. Model 3 is in a completely different league. So it's the pros and cons with it. If fast charging is important for you, then you go for Model 3. If not, then you can consider these other cars. But just want to comment again, the ID3, I focus mostly on the ID3 now, that it charges at a very nice rate. And you see, we can compare it to the E28, where even though it's smaller battery, but you see it start throttling already there at 50%, 48, 49%, it's down to 50 kilowatt, but the ID3 can still maintain over 75 kilowatt all the way to 50%. e-Sol, on the other hand, is well, it's a bigger battery, but it still maintains 75 kilowatt roughly until 58%. But let's see. So you see the ID3 doesn't have any weird dip like suddenly it drops. It will gradually drop like a Tesla mostly, whereas many other cars, actually the two other cars to the right, they have this sudden drop at a given breakpoint. And also what I notice actually with all these four cars we have here is that these chargings during 1000 kilometer challenge, they are consistent, meaning that even after you charge the 10th time, they will still maintain that speed. I noticed with some other cars that they tend to be exhausted once you drive it for a while. That was the E2, no, that was the Honda E and the Polestar. They seem to be slightly slower than the optimal now. But okay, look here. So even at 66%, you're still getting 50 kilowatt from ID3. And also another thing I should point out is that the ID3 and Model 3, they are very similar in consumption. The Model 3 is slightly more efficient than the ID3, but the ID3 is very, very efficient. At low speed, it will be more or less the same as e-Sol, but at high speed, ID3 is way more efficient than e-Sol. But then, okay, but it could also be a Kona. I just mentioned e-Sol here, but Kona has the same battery. But Kona is slightly smaller, slightly more aerodynamic than the boxy shape of the e-Sol. So yeah, and then as for E28 is how to put this in a nice way. It's thirsty for a small car. It's thirsty, and you see now that E28 you don't want to charge to 80%. It takes too long. But look at ID3. Even with a bigger battery, it can still maintain 50 kilowatt all the way to 80%. That is very nice. So it means that, well, actually, for most, okay, my Model 3 is done, yeah. Well, actually, a Model 3 is about to finish. So, but for most cases, you don't have to charge 90%. Just to point it out that some people might be wondering, oh, why does it take 40 minutes to charge? No, when I did the 1000 kilometer challenge, I mostly charged only 20-25 minutes. Sometimes I stretch it to 30 minutes, but having a 20-30 minute charging stop after driving for 1 to 2 hours is perfectly fine for me. So okay, actually you will see that for the ID3 I will go past 90% because I was so impressed by the charging speed and I want to see how fast it charges. So you see, even at this point the ID3 is charging way faster than the E28. Yeah, so the E28, I mean, it's a nice car and all that, just a little bit thirsty, but yeah, it charges kind of slow compared to the ID3. ID3 is just charging like a boss, yeah. So okay, what else should I say? Yeah, see, now the ID3 goes past 90%. Well, we didn't show you the Model 3 because the Model 3 would probably reach 100%. Well, actually, I'm not sure about that. But on the other hand, it's kind of irrelevant to show you, past 90% because almost never charge past 90% anyway, and it will also degrade the battery slightly more. But okay, so at this point, I'm not sure what we are looking at here. eSol, oh yeah, I should also tell you guys that, okay, so eSol has more range than ID3 because it simply has a bigger battery. But you will see here that even charging to 90% or 100%, which is unlikely scenario, you see that the ID3 can actually maintain the same speed as eSol, but at higher state of charge. But the ID3 has a buffer on top, but the eSol also has a buffer on top. Actually, most cars have, except for Model 3 maybe. But it means that actually at this given point, the ID3 has more range than eSol. eSol has about 450 kilometers of range, and then ID3 has about 400. So eSol has about 10% more. But still, yeah, just to show you, that's why I put these two in comparison, to show you this. But for most cases, like with 1000 kilometer challenge, you don't charge to 100% and 90%, and you charge to about I charge to 65-70%, which was kind of aggressive. But I think most normal people, they will charge to about 70-80%. Okay, see, ID3 finished after 1 hour. eSol is not done yet. E28 is not done yet. But very impressive. And you know, this is just a charging session. But if you look at the table in the description of this video, you will, if you're interested in the 1000 kilometer challenge, you will see that when I did Kona, which is basically, it's just the same battery as the eSol, Kona was actually slower than ID3 on the 1000 kilometer challenge. And this shows you why. I mean, the ID3 is more efficient and high speed. It charges faster. So of course it's going to be slower than the eSol or Kona. And also as for E28, but E28 is a smaller car, I mean smaller battery, and also slightly cheaper depending on how you look at it. But okay, it finished. So, but actually if you go for the ID3, the lowest trim versus let's say E2008, which is the fat version of it, but then the price is similar. That's why I measure them also. So I think these four cars that I included are relevant to compare against each other. So what should I say then about charging speed? Very impressive. Some people, they were kind of not too impressed, or they thought it was charging slow. Maybe they expected 100 kilowatt all the way to 80%, but no, that's not healthy for the battery. I still think that the charging curve for the ID3 is really good. It's good enough. You will notice once you take it on a long trip that you drive for, let's say 2 to 4 hours before you take the first charging stop. And as I mentioned, you should try to arrive with around 10% roughly, or maybe 5% if you want to feel lucky. But that means you have to drive for a long time, and usually you want to stretch your leg a bit, and then you will notice that even after just 20-30 minutes, then the car already has pretty good range, so you can drive another at least 2-3 hours before you have to take another stop, depending on how fast you drive and all that. And also based on this, based on my 1000 kilometer challenge and all that stuff, I get the impression that you don't really need the bigger battery, the 82 kilowatt hour battery. From what I've heard, I haven't seen a picture of it yet, it eats more space in the back, so you have only 4 seats instead of 5 seats. And you have to pay, was it 5,000 euros more? In my opinion, is that worth it? Because, for example, a Model 3 long range versus a Model 3 standard range plus, there is no penalty in space, you know? Okay, it costs more, but you okay, but the longer, the bigger battery gives you more power, more range, faster charging. And okay, that's the same for the ID3. Okay, you get faster charging, you get more range, but you have a penalty in space, and I don't like that. I guess I'm just weird. But okay, so enough talk. Now you guys seen the charging graph and all that, and I think that's gonna be it. And that car was the ID3 whatever base model, and I'm sitting in the ID3 Max right now, and I will get to borrow ID3 Plus. But all these cars, the 58 kilowatt hour or the 62 kilowatt hour, they have the same charging curve, as long as it's the different trim level is just different equipment, like the panorama roof here. So that will be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.